brought to you by Freedom Media WA.
You're gonna false arrest me for nothing.
We're going to place you under arrest.
You're gonna place me under arrest for nothing. For doing nothing. I've done nothing wrong. Do you understand that?
Yeah, we got your number there, Mills.
No worries, it's 115. My husband actually hasn't done anything wrong. You can't falsely arrest him. Currently going to be placed under arrest. You're hurting him! You're hurting him!
Hey, look at you! Look at you! Look at you!
My name is Carl. I'm a proud Anzac veteran and patriot. I have 9.5 years of military service in both the New Zealand Army and the Australian Defence Force. I also served for 7 years as a military consultant in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is me in 2017 when I re-enlisted into the Australian Army. The 1st of January 2022, Perth, Western Australia, myself and a friend were arrested for simply standing in the shade. This is our story.
Lindsay from Freedom Media WA. Premier Mark McGowan, for the first time in Western Australian history, has caused division in the community of Western Australia by introducing medical apartheid. What that looked like at the Perth Cup, we had people that required to show proof of vaccination status as well as wear a face mask in order to enter the Perth Cup. Carl and Simon, I understand you both were in attendance yesterday. What caused you, I'll start off, Carl, what caused you to go down there?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks. Medical apartheid in this day and age, 2022, is just completely unacceptable. It's not 1930s Germany, and we just can't have it in Perth, Western Australia, in any shape or form.
And Simon, yourself?
Yeah, I echo those comments. We heard about the event and we just thought it was just, it's not Australian, it's not how we are, and we don't want to live in this world where we're segregated like Nazi Germany and the Jews. I mean, this is getting real now, and so we felt we had to show our support. We had to stand up yesterday, so we went down, and yes, we had some placards, and we showed our support for all the people that aren't double vaccinated and couldn't attend the event, and to show our distaste for this whole process.
It's a massive social event. It's a significant event in terms of race day, and there's many other issues in relation to that. But I just want to sort of come off and say the reason why we're here is because, as I said, we had the team from Freedom Media on the ground, and we've seen the footage, and you may notice on the side of your chin there, Simon, that you have now the injuries that you've just seen that Simon has, and Carl, you also have some bark in terms of around your wrist here, and I can also say on the back underneath your shoulder blade you have two puncture injuries there, which is as a result of tasers.
My wife and I were leaning against a fence just in some shade, and we were actually directed to that location by some police officers about 10 minutes prior, so we're just sort of following their direction. They said to us, look, just go down there to that position where we were, and just as long as you don't make comments to any race goers and whatnot, and you'll be fine.
Don't move off this pathway.
What are we actually doing? Just getting shade. We're not blocking the path. We're not talking to anyone. We're not.
It's all good.
So just minding our own business, and about 10 minutes had passed, and just got confronted by about 5 police officers, and a senior constable. She's just right up in my face, asking me for my details, and it was just it was pretty confronting, to be honest. Yeah, it was pretty stressful, to be honest.
And yourself, Simon, you followed Carl to the shaded area?
Not initially. Basically, we were on the other side of the road, and we got a signal to come and cross the road. And I thought it was just to get some photos and stand in the shade. I was perfectly happy where I was standing, but we decided to cross over, and we didn't appreciate at the time that the situation was turning serious. And we just happened to stand next to Cole, and we're watching. We're kind of shocked what was unfolding in front of our eyes, how the police just seemed to unnecessarily and quite aggressively and without any cause that I could see, put him under arrest very quickly.
You've got the graze to the left side of your cheek, and the footage shows that you took a very heavy fall.
It was just a maelstrom of action from the moment that they tried to arrest Cole. There was definitely police around us and engaging us, and and I don't remember too much other than the pavement veering up at me, and feeling very sort of dazed about the whole situation. But quickly I felt pressure on my neck. I felt people ripping my arms behind my back. You can see I wasn't resisting, but I thought my arms were going to pop out my sockets or something was going to break. I having trouble breathing because, and it's just all happened so fast. And the next thing I know, I'm pulled to my feet. Again, no like, are you all right, mate? Are you all right? I've clearly sustained an injury. And then I was just led away, and I was pretty much taken to a private area afterwards.
You've hit the ground incredibly hard, and at that point, another police officer has come up and he's put his shin across the back of your neck. Do you recall that?
I mean, I was surprised to see that. I did feel some pain in my neck this morning and last night, and I figured something like that must have happened.
Did the police offer you any medical assistance, given that you've just hit the ground incredibly hard, as the footage will show?
No, they were really only interested in finding out what my name was and reading me my rights and things like that. I wasn't even sure what my condition was. I actually asked someone, is my face all right? And he's like, I just got a scratch, mate, it's all right. I wouldn't call this a scratch, but the whole time I felt in pain, but even the whole process from the time I was taken in the paddy wagon to the station and process, no one was interested in treating my wounds or offered to treat my wounds. And I was very disappointed. I've never been arrested before, so I'd expect a little bit better treatment from the WA police than what I ever see. So,
do you think the manner in which you were treated by the West Australian police, that the use of force was appropriate to your demeanour at the time?
No, I don't think so. Like you can say, it was a completely peaceful protest. There's been no animosity towards the police the whole time these protests have been going on, and rallies and things like that. And we hadn't done anything to aggravate a violent situation, and the police just over-escalated, in my opinion, and their use of force was over what was required to, diffuse the situation. I really don't think the police were trying to diffuse the situation. I think they were trying to escalate it and to make it as violent appearing as they could. It was completely unnecessary from beginning to end. So what on earth's going on with the WA police? They seem to be just uncaring, unsympathetic, overbearing aggressors. This is not a good look for them.
As I say, I was just in the shade, just minding my own business, and I remember getting shot with the OC spray. I just went blind, couldn't see anything, and then I was shot with the taser.
You're hurting him! You're hurting him!
And I don't recall too much after that. I hit the ground, and then I felt body parts and stuff all over me, and I was just overwhelmed with force. And I recall getting drive stunned as well with the taser as well, a second time. Look, at the end of the day, being a soldier, we're trained in armed combat, and and I've trained in Krav Maga as well. There was no way I was going to strike out because there's just no real reason to. I was coherent enough at that time to go, well, I'm not going to just, punch on with police officers at that time, because no point. Police officers had been along that side of the road and in the shade all day. It was almost as like they just didn't want us in the shade. Do you know what I mean? Pretty much. That's what it felt like. And it just felt like, I was targeted. Because the spot where we got confronted, we were actually directed there like 10 minutes prior by other police officers. Do you know what I mean? They said to my wife and I, we were good there, just as long as we didn't interfere with any race goers, and they were happy enough with that. Lo and behold, 10 minutes later, we were confronted by aggressive police.
We're standing in the shade, minding our own business. The police officers are obstructing the path for people going to the races, but they're saying we're obstructing the path. Our bums are against this fence here, but they've decided to arrest my husband for not complying with what they're blocking the path.
They both got pushed onto the ground, tasered, crap in their eyes, and been taken away. So now I'm standing here thinking, where has this country come to? We weren't doing anything. Why aren't we allowed to stand in a shade in the summer, in the heat of the sun, and he gets taken away because he doesn't want us to stand in the sun?
I just didn't think it was reasonable at all. Do you know what I mean? Even initial conversations with the police officer, she didn't explain herself at all. They had an agenda to come in and try and intimidate me and rough me up and arrest me. They weren't interested in being reasonable, I didn't think.
Now, so they've tasered you, 2 probes have gone in, then they've put it into what's called drive mode, where they've pushed the taser into you, and then they've effected the arrest with a number of police officers. Do you recall how many?
I believe at least 4, maybe more. But once I was on the ground and they let go with the taser, I didn't have control, so and that's when I believe I was tasered, drive stunned a second time once I was on the ground.
So you've got OC spray, you've been stunned or hit with a taser once, you've been drive stunned again with the taser, and then I guess the old stack on by the police. Was there any welfare questions? Now, those that aren't familiar with a taser, it does shoot barbs into the skin, and that's how it conducts the electric shock. It penetrates the skin, a bit like a jab, times 2.
Out the way! You're hurting him! You're hurting him! You're hurting him! Get off him!
Look, this medical apartheid in 2022 is unacceptable on every level. This should not be happening. It just absolutely makes me sick, and I just don't know where we move forward from here. Like, it just defies belief.
So a man that's served his nation, in fact two nations before you become a citizen in Australia, you've put your body on the line for the country, you've seen active service, and you're simply taking a stance because you're ashamed of the way that our politicians are treating the country.
All right, you're a veteran. Congratulations.
Yeah, good on me, mate. Good on me. Good on me.
It looks like the police are definitely just aggravating us for no reason, trying to say we committed a crime when I couldn't see any crime committed. All the people around us couldn't see a crime committed, and we've been, peacefully protesting all day. We complied with everything the police said that day, and there was no hostility towards them. And until that point, there had been no hostility towards us.
So thank you both for inviting the team from Freedom Media and giving us the opportunity to tell your story. And we certainly, hope that whatever happens in the matter going forward, that you actually see the right, appropriate justice for the circumstances of what happened.
We're very law-abiding citizens. We love WA. I believe deeply that we're on the wrong path in WA with these vaccine mandates and medical apartheid that they keep enforcing on us. And I can see our freedoms are just disappearing in front of our eyes.
Brought to you by Freedom Media WA. Like, share and subscribe to my channel to see real people telling real stories.